me, and not to take a shot at anyone, I believe it's quarterback play. I believe the SEC has lagged behind some of the other conferences when it comes to big-time quarterback play. And that's not to say that they don't have big-time athletes at quarterback, but a lot of times some of your quote-unquote best athletes are not your best quarterback. So I believe what has separated the SEC from many of the other powerful schools and what they're able to do week in and week out on the football field, especially when it comes to bowl time, you give these guys 3 weeks or a month to prepare, and you have the better quarterback, you have a great opportunity to win the football game. And that is at the beginning of the season and at the very end of the season. The team with the better quarterback probably has a great chance at that point. If you get to the middle and let guys get a chance to get their feet wet and get into the rhythm of the game, then your quarterbacks who may not be quite as good catch up. But early in the season, late in the season, give me the better quarterback.
Okay, over the last 3 seasons, Alabama's 22-2 in the conference. Nobody would be surprised by that. They've only lost 4 games in the last 3 years. They go to the college football playoff each and every year. They've won the conference 3 straight years. There's not been that. And before, Jamie, it wasn't just one team that was also in the top 5 or top 10. It was the SEC with 4 or 5 teams in the top 10. And that program seems to be missing right now. And I go through the rankings of recruiting, which sure, it's speculation, but over the long haul, it's very accurate in terms of projecting which teams are going to be competitive. Georgia's had 4 consecutive top 10 classes. So has Auburn. We've seen Auburn go 8-5, 7-6, 8-5, and they've got 4 consecutive top 10 classes. So what? I know you're pointing to quarterbacking being an issue, but is there anything else that's not happening? Because we see the talent influx into the conference, and we see it leave and dominate the NFL draft 3 or 4 years later.
You know, that's a very interesting question. I can tell you that no matter how much talent that you take in on signing day, you have to develop that talent. And when you look at the class of the SEC, not only does Alabama take in the best players on signing day, they also develop that talent better than anybody. Getting the chance to visit Tuscaloosa numerous times, getting to see the facilities that they put forth, what they do with their strength and conditioning program and how they approach their day-to-day business. I don't think anybody develops their players as well as Nick Saban and the Alabama staff does. Now, granted, the first Wednesday in February, they get a head start on everyone, but then they just proceed to lengthen that gap when they get them with Scott Cochran there in the Alabama strength and conditioning program. When you look at Alabama's players versus most of the other teams in the SEC, maybe save LSU, their guys just look different on the field. LSU's defensive players seem to look a little bit like Alabama's players, but if you think about it, just looking at it as a beauty contest, other than LSU and some of Georgia's defenders, can you name another team that appears to look like grown men like Alabama? I can't.
And the results bear it out. So Bama, 22-2 in the conference the last 3 years. Jamie, take a guess. Who's second in the SEC in win-loss record the last 3 years?
Second in the SEC win-loss record the last 3 years. In conference or overall?
In conference. Conference record.
That's a good one. Georgia.
So we got Florida at 17-7. LSU with all its talent, 14-10. Georgia 15-9. Butch Jones recruiting out of its mind is 12-12 in the SEC over the last 3 seasons.